It is finally here after so very long of waiting. Winter's Victory. Never thought we'd see it published and finished, but it's arrived. This is, of course, the Battle of Eylau, 7th to 8th February 1807, from New England Simulations. Only my second ever New England Simulations game, but the production value here is insane. And actually, there's a lot about this game that's insane. This is a battalion level grand tactical game about the Battle of Eylau. In, I guess, what is Grand Battles of the First Empire, a series maybe that NES is putting together. This, from what I understand, uses the rules from the old Wellington's Victory, I think. And what a great cover this is of Napoleon here in the snow. There's like a church with battle lines in the background. And I love the texture of this blue color, which is really cool. I can't wait to open this. I actually have not opened it yet. So this is a true unboxing of this game. I'll show you my big heels. They will go into the enemy squares as if they were made of butter. This is a quote from Napoleon, apparently, at the Battle of Eylau. Here's another great piece of artwork on the back. You can see some grognards there. Russians versus French in the bitter winter of East Prussia. Here we can see some of the counters. Players 2 to 5, I assume that means that you'll be playing, taking commands of a certain side on a team. We've got 4 maps in this game if you play the whole thing. Almost 2,600 counters, which is nuts. And there's going to be a lot of charts in here as well and whatnot. We're going to get it open in a second. But like I said, 116 yards per hex, 15-minute game turns. Infantry battalion is the prime scale here. Really love the box treatment on this. Let's get it open and see what exactly... I mean, this is a 3-inch box, and there's no mounted components in here other than, I guess, the counters. So let's see what is waiting for us in this box. I've been very excited since I learned about this game. Actually, thanks to Ardwolf that I heard about this game. And as I was going through my Napoleonic kick, I decided to pre-order it. This is definitely going to be a convention game for me, or possibly like a end-of-year vacation type game for me. I don't think there's any way that this, at least the campaign, gets played with any sort of regularity or sort of like on a single day. Okay, so box is open. To greet us, we have this really nice like monogrammed bag. It's a felt bag. It's got a little bit of some counter dust on it. We'll wipe that off. Winter's Victory, Deluxe Edition Accessories. I forgot that this was going to be in here. What do we got? I think we maybe have some custom dice. Let's see. Maybe some wooden pieces. So here, some custom, or not, if not custom, at least colored themed D10s. So we're looking at a D10 system, blue for French, green for the Russians, which is pretty nice. We have got a wooden game turn marker here, nice little cylinder. What else is in here? There's something larger in here that I can't seem to get out. Hold on one moment. Okay, so we've got a turn phase marker, also a wooden cylinder. Pretty nice. But then we've got these metal arrows. I, at one point, remembered what these were, and I don't remember what they are now. Possibly line of sight markers. But they're metal, which is pretty cool. They feel metal anyway. And I mean, they're cool. I don't know what they're for. But that all came in this felt Winter's Victory. I guess if you pre-ordered, you got these little accessories here. So dice for your factions, some wooden turn markers, and these metal arrows, which someone who's watching this can tell me. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Holy crap. So this appears to be a folder of some kind. Let's open this up. So here's Winter's Victory. How does this open? We've got 2 booklets. Oh, I see. Okay. We've got 2 booklets held in this little paper folder. So we've got the rules, and in New England Simulation style, it is a matte finish here, but full color. I would say, yeah, definitely a matte paper, but a smooth matte, not like for something like Revolution Games, for example. So here's a table of contents if you want to pause the video and see what exactly is in here, but we're looking at 37 pages of rules, which is actually less than I was expecting for such a tactical Napoleonic system that's supposed to be highly detailed, but we'll see how dense it is. Here you can see some of the units. The units look beautiful. Can't wait to get to the counters. Markers, lots of different markers. Ammo depletion, charge zone, square, ammunition, troop strength, formation orders. So we've got double column, pretty dense. It looks like there's going to be a lot here. Going over movement. We're just going to flip through here real quick. I'm not going to go too crazy. Infantry formations. This game has been sort of heralded by folks who are looking for an alternative to Labatai as a system in terms of like the weight and detail that sort of like more heavyweight, I guess, is my understanding. Can't quite get the paper turned. Yeah, there's not a lot of illustrations here. There's a lot, maybe as we get, I know there's an example play at the end. There's some illustrations, but it is full color. There is a lot going on here, it appears, in this game. Corps and army demoralization. Here's a diagram about cavalry opportunity charging. I've been playing a lot of Napoleonics recently. I am going to be getting a game of Rising Eagles Austerlitz at a convention pretty soon. Here is another cavalry charge diagram. So lots of detail here. The rulebook looks really nice. I'm excited to get into this at some point. I am going to play this, probably learn it face-to-face. I find with big games like this, it's more fun to learn face-to-face, so you're not overwhelmed with playing both sides. Commands and leaders, army commands. There's a lot of detail here, and the text is fairly dense. Command state management. And then here's an order delivery and activation example for you to follow. Looks like command's going to play a huge role since it is the tactical aspect of the game. Let's see what's in here. This looks to be the scenario book. This also opens out, maybe. Yeah, there's some stuff on the inside of this. This is holding the rules, which is pretty nice. Here's a cavalry charge and shot combat example. This is a really good use of component space to provide a little booklet with the credits that holds the other booklets so you can better learn how to play. Set that aside for a moment. Here is the playbook. Exclusive rules, scenarios, and optional rules. A lot of great historical artwork in this. I'll just flip through this real quick. Exclusive rules for this particular game. Obviously, a lot of it about the weather, since we're talking about the deep cold. Wind direction, snow events. That will be pretty interesting. Looks like the snow event stuff is blizzard. Pretty detailed as well. Yeah, movement direction during heavy snow and blizzards. I wonder if that's what those metal arrows are for. Night game turns, special cavalry rules, and other units, so Russian Cossacks. You expect to have those here. Divided cav, Russian light horse and artillery. I mean, there's a fair number of special rules here about specific units. Russian morale and shock combat. Looks like a lot of it governs the Russians. So all told, we've got another 12 pages of ILAO-specific rules here. And then we've got scenarios. I think there are 4 scenarios in this game. Let's see. So Benningsen turns to fight. This is the delaying battle of February 7th. Only map A. So this is a single mapper. And it looks like not even the full map. And this looks like a 29-turn game. So a full half day of fighting. Basically 8 hours. So, I mean, still going to be an undertaking, right? We've got the Iron Marshal strikes. This is Davout's 3rd Corps attack on the Russian left wing. This is a 21-turn game, and it's a one-mapper, only one map, and then it looks like not even the full map. So there are a fair number of turns here for even these one-map scenarios. A Winter's Victory, the epic battle in the snows. Let's see how long this one is. This is 54 turns, possibly ending earlier. You are going to have to use all 4 maps. I will try and find a spot to set up the maps all connected if I can. A bunch of special rules there. So that was, what, 3 scenarios? I think there might be one more in here. There's a lot about the campaign scenario. And here's the grand battle option, connecting the first base battle to the second. So you can play the first day and then start the battle on the 8th based on those positions, which is kind of interesting. So you can kind of make the call, like I want to play this one scenario, and then based on where we land, we want to we want to continue. Oh, I guess, okay, I see. So this 59 turn or 54 turn scenario is just the day of battle. This is the 2-day full campaign scenario. This one is going to be all 4 maps, and it begins on the 7th and continues to the 8th. So probably more, obviously, than 50 turns because you're playing like 2 full days. I would love to see that at a convention. That's probably like a week-long endeavor, maybe, depending on how fast this game plays. Bunch of optional rules here. Be curious to read through those. Optional for movement and cavalry. Dragoons, it looks like. Very detailed, very detailed. Optional shot combat and command rules, with a little bit of guide how to do that. Here's the designer's notes. We go into triple column, pretty substantial. The player's notes, and looks like errata. Interesting. So I guess they detected some errata on some of the setup cards, and one of the counters, which you with a fixed graphic, even though the counter itself is not fixed. Interesting that the errata couldn't be changed before they printed this. Here's the weather effects table, heavy snow movement, and the night game turn sequence. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's take a look at what we got here. So here we have an army card display. I'll move these. An army card display for French brigade commitment and fatigue for the different corps for the French player. Fatigue obviously going to play a big part. These are printed really nicely, by the way, on like a matte heavy stock. Here's the oh, these are all scenario based, it looks like. So you have a display depending on what scenario you're playing. So you can see that this is the day of battle scenario here. Here's the Imperial Russian Army with their different divisions and command structure. Some Prussians here. So that is for that. And then we've got, this looks like the fatigue display for a massacre without results. So this is maybe the full campaign scenario. A little bit larger of a chart. These are really nicely done. Obviously, part of the whole Napoleonics thing with games is how sort of like opulent they are. These are all single-sided. Here's the one of the one map scenarios. This is pretty nice. It just shows you the Russian units that are in that particular scenario, plus the victory conditions and the victory level track on the sheet, which is cool. Here's the sequence of play. Pretty interesting. It's done in a round style. So it's got each of the phases and then what happens in each of those phases, and you'll use your little turn phase marker and move to show where you're at. It's pretty cool. All right, here we go. We have got the fire combat results table. So based on who you're shooting at and what formation they're in, they're going to be in different classes, and your fire is going to be more or less effective. Not many DRMs, not many column shifts. That's pretty nice. You've got your range table here based on what order you are in and what range you're at. That's cool. And on the back, we've got the artillery table, so it's going to be slightly different, obviously. But again, you know, you can see the difference. Soft cover target, or a unit in skirmish or protected by light cover. Hard cover target, you would imagine that would be entrenchments or other fortifications. So probably a lot of it's going to be here in target class 2, line or cavalry formation. I don't know what the results mean, but you can see, I think there's 2 of these, one for each player. That one, and actually they may be different per player, it looks like, because we've got one for the French, and we've got one for the Russians here. Is there, let's take a look. Is there any differences? It does appear, yeah, that they are different. So the tables are going to reflect the fire capabilities of the armies. So you can see here, if you're a target class 1 and you roll a 6, you see these results. I'm not sure what they are, but target class 1, you roll a 6 here. These results are actually not the same. It looks like, yeah, so that's pretty interesting. Here is shock combat results, so it's based on odds. And then the differential of effectiveness. This, of course, a lot more DRMs, shot combat, a lot more unpredictable and deadly. And looks like you're going to have disordered results, retreats, SP losses, and so forth. This is single-sided. Probably best to leave that on the table for both players where they can see it. What else do we got in here? Another shot combat table, so each player will have one. That's quite nice. Okay, we're running out of space to stack stuff, so let me clean this up and continue to go through the box. Okay, here we can see the terrain effects chart. Probably 2 of these. Examples of the different terrain type. You can see the map palette is going to be a gray and white primarily. Hex side terrain. On the back here, we've got order delivery. So orders being received or not, going to be important. Cavalry charge morale and artillery extended range fire zone, plus different types of cavalry units here. We've got the morale and rally tables. So morale check and all of the conditions that will institute a morale check. Modifiers, lots of DRMs there. Determining effectiveness rating. So again, when we looked back at the melee combat table, effectiveness was the differential was what determined what column you rolled on. Moving artillery gun losses, self-rally from rout, Russian units rallying from disorder. So that's another player aid. Looks like there's only 1 copy of each of those. And here we have more displays for the different armies. So it looks like here we've got the 1 map first scenario, the rear guard action, or I guess not a rear guard action. It was this is the sort of on the 7th, the sort of prelude. Again, everything here handily on 1 sheet, including the reinforcement schedule, which is pretty nice for both sides. Casualty track probably going to play a big role in that particular scenario. Here we've got the French for the Iron Marshal Strikes scenario 2. Again, another 1 mapper, along with the reinforcement schedules and special rules. Oh, this is double-sided. Is the other one double-sided? Yes, it is. Look at this. So the French is on one side, the French is on one side, Russians are on the other, and we have that here as well. Here's the Allied scenario setup, so that'll help that. Here's the French reinforcements and mandated actions on which specific turn for the day of battle scenario. And again, we have the French setup on this side of that. Lots of documentation, really nicely produced documentation. Here is the 3rd scenario for the Allies, their reinforcements and mandated actions and victory point adjustments. And on the back, we've got their setup. As you can see, this scenario uses all 4 maps, the day of battle, and it's going to be quite involved. Nice to have these, though. Here is the full campaign. And it tells you here how the reinforcements come into play based on other charts. Allied wing commands, there's a rule there. Here is the night game turn sequence, or the night turn sequence of the game. Here is the Allied unit setup. So we've got that. Okay, next thing in the box. Maps. Can I get them out of there? Let's see. Then we'll get to the counters, but I do want to show you the maps. They are really nice paper, kind of a matte, thick paper. Here we can see the wind direction. I imagine this is what those metal arrows were for. Facing into the wind. This game sort of simulates that as well, which is kind of crazy. How often do you see that in a land combat tactical game? We can see some of the tracks here. Morale. Let's get this fully open. How big are these maps? Are they 4 full-size game maps? They're folded kind of interestingly. Hold on. Okay, so here's the upper right map of Winter's Victory. And it gives you some of the terrain. Kutschitten, this town here. I like the graphics. I really like the tree graphics here. Everything's really crisp. I like that. We are talking half-inch counters. The hexes look like they're appear to be 5/8 of an inch, so the counters should fit pretty nicely. And we've got another turn record track here. So this map looks like it's going to be the upper right portion of the map. It's not even a full map. It's weird that this is folded into 9 panels. Usually you do 8.5 by 11 panels, although that might be what's going on here. But this is the upper right hand corner. Let's fold that up one-handed as I attempt to get this back All right, so that's one of them, and it looks like we've got more tracks here. Maybe allied, maybe some allied tracks here. Let's see. It makes this hard to unfold one-handed because of the way they've tri-folded the maps while I'm on camera. There we go. So this looks like it's probably the lower right map. So again, more tracks down the side. So this would be the right-hand side of the maps when you put them together. It looks like here the French approaching. You can see the color palette. The counter should pop pretty nicely on this. I really like the fonts that they've used here and the map graphics. Really nicely done. So this looks like the lower right. So that would connect. The other map I showed you would connect up there. This one connects down here. And then we'd have two more on this side. So the actual playing surface is only about a map and a half, a map and 2/3 wide, but then obviously 2 maps high. And it's going to be interesting because the Battle of Eylau is very popular this year. The Sound of Drums is also releasing Napoleon 1807 right now, which is another game on the Battle of Eylau. Also, I believe, at the battalion scale, but not quite as complex as this. Here you can see we have a turn track on this side. I won't open this one up, but you kind of get the idea. This is map B. I'll open it up partially. It's really, I mean, the color palette's quite nice. So there's a lot of Battle of Eylau this year. And these are really nice. The paper is really nice. You know, like I said, I only own one other New England Simulations game, but their production quality on this is quite good. So those look like the left side maps. Okay, here is the errata. Is this a sticker? No. Have a blank counter ready to apply the labels. Yeah, so, and it wants you to adhere. So this is just kind of a printed thing to fix one of the counters. Unfortunate that that happened, but with 2,600 counters, only 2 of them is not bad. Okay, these are stickers, it looks like. Curious. I think these feel like sticker paper, but they might not be. It might just be a thick stock. So anyways, you'd cut this out and mount it on a 9/16 inch counter. So I guess that means this game is 9/16 inch, not half an inch. So slightly larger than half an inch, my mistake. But let's take a look at the counters because, dear God, there are a lot of them. So here we are with the French units and leaders, it looks like. They're very nicely done. They have a little bit of that La Bataille vibe to them, but they are in that sort of like classic NES style. So these are matte. I don't know if you remember my unboxing to the other Napoleonic game I have for New England Simulations, but the counters feel like paper. They don't have, well, it doesn't feel like they have like a coating over them. So they're an extremely matte finish, like a smooth matte finish, which some people like or don't like. I think they look pretty nice, and they don't catch glare. You can see that my light is not really glaring on them. They're almost semi-gloss, but not quite. They're very matte. Here's the back side of the units. You can see that reduction of stats, it looks like. Probably. And they all look pretty good. Registration looks pretty good. There are, like I said, 2,600 counters. Here we've got various unit counters. These are upside down. Let's turn them right side up. Some leaders. I really like the portraits of the leaders here. It's going to take me forever to clip this. Here we've got some units, it looks like. The little horn in the middle, I'm unsure what that means. So they are infantry, but then over the top of the NATO symbol, we've got some different symbology here. The Russians. Pretty nice looking. Very nice looking. Kind of mimics the uniforms. Here are more Russians. Oh, these must be skirmish units. Yeah, Jaegers. So light infantry potentially is what the little horn is. Here are some Prussians, sort of a purplish. Looking forward to this. Here are, these must be, and you can see it comes with some spare units as well. This is interesting. Are these infantry units? What am I looking at here? These are light. Maybe these are light infantry units. So these were skirmishers, and these were maybe light infantry. Different. They use a silhouette versus the other symbols that we've saw. And then obviously we've got some disordered markers. Oh, these punch pretty nicely. And some routed markers. So you can see these are going to come out pretty nicely from the sprue. You might want to clip the corners though. Counters for fatigue and so forth. Lots of different types of counters. These appear to be infantry units. Yeah, interesting. Light Imperial Guard. Here are NATO symbols. I'm not sure if you're going to use both of them or not. That'll be interesting to find out. Okay, here's the answer. Current wind direction. So we've got little metal wind direction markers, which in the deluxe component thing, which is pretty nice. Otherwise, you would use these. This looks like cavalry charge markers. So probably I would say half the counters in this game are going to be markers, based on the number of sheets we've got here. Attack orders, French morale level markers, Russian square and charge markers, ammo. You know, these are going to be all your status markers. And then here we've got 3 sheets of looks like step losses or hits basically to your units. 1s. On the other side, there's probably 2s. Yep, 3s. So 1 through 7. And then we've got some of the bigger ones for probably bigger formations. And then these gray ones are going to be... I don't know what the gray ones are going to be. Interesting. Well, there you go. You know, these might be a little plain to some people, but I actually like informational markers to be pretty simple and plain and not graphically intensive. Just, you know, I imagine because these are going to go beneath the unit. So that is Winter's Victory. Just an absolute opus of a Napoleonics game production. Let me see if I can find the space to get all of the maps spread out so you can see them, because it looks amazing. All right, well, there you go. More or less the way the map is going to look. And I know this doesn't make a lot of sense. I've done this on my floor, but yeah, it's quite large. You're going to need probably 2 or 3 tables to fit this all. It isn't nicely square, so it's not extremely long on one edge. There's a chair for size reference to how big we're talking for this map. So there's a couple chairs next to all 4 maps laid out. But it looks really nice. It's going to be really epic to see all the counters on this, assuming you have the space to play all 4 maps. This is a big game for a very complex Napoleonic experience, let's say. I think it's going to bring something new to sort of like my experience with Napoleonic games, in terms of just how much detail is here and the scale. And so I am excited to play it. Thank you for watching this unboxing and dealing with how mad I appear to be for picking this game up.